My name is Shawn Gardner, and today I'm going to be talking about cosmetic testing on animals and the effect that it has. So I wanted to start off with a scenario. Think about if you grew up in complete darkness, in a cage, you didn't have a lot of space to move, you never got to feel the sunlight, or run in the grass, or eat real food, or play with other animals. You never got to build a bond with your mom or your family because you were separated from them at a very young age. You lived very depressed and lonely life because you never knew when your next meal was coming, or never knew what the next painful thing was going to happen to you, whether it be a needle in the eye or chemicals on your back where they've shaved your hair off so you have no protection, and that would be horrible. And that's what these animals go through on a daily basis. So, as a little girl, I grew up loving makeup. I wanted to be the next YouTube guru, makeup guru. I wanted to do makeup tutorials, and I always spent all my money on makeup, all my allowance, and birthdays and Christmas. I was always asking for just makeup. That's all I wanted. And growing up, I would go to MAC or, Ulta and get CoverGirl and all these different brands, and didn't ever care or know enough about it to know that these companies tested on animals. And as I got older, I started researching it and finding out what companies did test on animals and what didn't, and natural things to do so that you didn't have to go out and buy something that was against what I believed in. Well, for example, these are some of the companies that do test on animals, such as Revlon, Mary Kay, CoverGirl, Estee Lauder. These were all companies that I used as, somebody that loved makeup. And as I grow up now and realize the effect that it has on them, and start to research what happens to them and the things that they go through and the amount of animals that are tested on every single year, I have decided that I will not support these companies that test on animals. And that's really one of the biggest ways to stop testing on animals, is to not support the companies that do test on them. If they don't have money coming in every day, then they can't afford to do the testing. So I believe that cosmetic testing should be illegal. It should be abolished. Companies that you can support, such as Lush, which is a Bath and Body Works kind of thing, NYX, Too Faced, Urban Decay is a big one. Urban Decay is one that I use a lot because they stand for the same things that I do, and they don't test on animals. They use a lot of cruelty-free products. But as a consumer, that's really one of the biggest ways to stop animal testing and to make a stand and stand up for the animals that can't stand up for themselves. So I do have a couple pictures to show you. This is a rabbit that is being tested on. It's having chemicals injected into its eyeball. This is another rabbit that has been tested on. It had chemicals put on its ears, and you can see the burns, and it's mutilated, and it doesn't look like a very exciting life. These are monkeys that have been tested on, and either they die because of the tests, or they're not useful anymore, so they're killed and just left in buckets. So I want to say no to animal testing completely. There are a few things that I think could help, or could be a different type of thing that you could do instead of testing on animals. So you could do voluntary testing on humans, which would be better because aren't these products being used on humans? Rabbits don't wear mascara. Monkeys don't wear lipstick. So there would be people that would volunteer, if there was a compensation of some sort, such as financial compensation, or maybe prisoners that would, get some time off of their sentence, or maybe they could get it as a community service type of thing to be tested on in humane ways, of course, that these animals don't get. And I think those are, a good way. Another way would be to use there are skin cells that you can get in the petri dishes, and you can test the chemicals that way and see how the cells react to the different chemicals that are going to be used in the makeup or whatever else that they are doing the tests for. It is predicted that 100,000 to 200,000 animals are used in cosmetic tests every single year around the world. There are some countries that have made it illegal, but in the United States it is legal to test on animals, and the FDA, some of the different chemicals, it is by law demanded that the substance be tested on animals so that they can say that it's safe for humans. Another thing I wanted to address is, if it were coming down to the point where animal testing would be against the law and it could be abolished, then comes the problem, what to do with the animals. So I think that a good way would be to set up like a triage. So green level would be animals that could be adopted or, rehomed. And then yellow level would be, are we going to put them down? That's something that just has to take a little bit more of a look at. And then the red level animals would obviously have to be humanely euthanized so that they don't have to live in pain anymore. Another thing is, I wanted to talk about, sadly, I believe that a lot of the animals would have to get humanely euthanized just because of the trauma that they've been through within their lives. They wouldn't be able to go to a home and, live a normal life as a pet or go to a shelter. And also there's the other thing to think about is who's going to pay to feed these animals. It is a better life to be humanely euthanized than to live in a laboratory getting tested on for something that you don't choose. So to wrap all this up, I definitely think that animal testing in the cosmetic industry should be abolished, and it should be against the law. And I believe that all makeup consumers and little girls growing up should be told that these companies that test on animals you should not be buying their products at all. And that's really all I have to say about that. Thank you.